And I said I'm going to stay put.
Okay. So, doctor will take the questions later on. Let's start moving. And there are people over here, like Disha, who have spoken to you before, couple of people. So let's start rolling. The meeting is recorded. Hope that's okay with you.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, hi everybody, this is Umang here, and I welcome all of you to a very special event by Hugging Club of India. And the inspiration for this event itself is over here, Dr. Nilesh Shah. He's a psychiatrist with a Sion Hospital. In fact, he heads the psychiatry department with Sion Hospital. And he's a person for the first time, I think I saw he openly talking about his own anxiety attacks, and that is something unique. A very few psychiatrists will talk about their own mental health challenges. In fact, for the first time, I saw him, at a conference online where he was so cool as a psychiatrist, where others were in formals and he was in a floral shirt, with a Goa background. And that was very impressive. And as an inspiration, we started this unique chapter with Hugging Club of India, which is called mental health experts talking about they're talking about their own mental health challenges, because mental health experts are also human. So before I go and introduce today's special guest, let me just run down what Hugging Club of India is all about. For people who are here for the very first time, Hugging Club of India is an initiative to remove stigma around mental illness. We started this in 2017 because our very close friend Vishal Tandon, he died of suicide. He was 40, his career wasn't going anywhere, and he thought talking about his own mental illness, people will think he's immature, or emotional. And that's why he took this step. So we came forward and started the Hugging Club of India. The reason we started is I'm very close to mental illness. I come from a family where my mother had schizophrenia and my dad has bipolar. So I've seen my mother talking to ghosts and spirits. She would call up my uncle and say, your dead wife is in my kitchen. I'm giving food and shelter, And my father could never keep a steady job. Whenever he got money, he would go to casinos and gambling houses and not come home for days. And my mother would sit home and cry. So I come from a family where I'm not really proud of my parents, till somebody told me very profound that, Umang, your mom did not choose schizophrenia. Schizophrenia chose your mom. मेरे पापा बुरे इंसान नहीं है, उन्हें बुरी बीमारी है. Equipped with all this, we started the Hugging Club of India. Today, we are in 4 cities, around 1,000 people in WhatsApp group. And we all are stigma shatterers, taboo thrashers, change makers, where we openly talk about our mental health challenges. I have codependency and I take therapy for ADHD, But moving on to today's guest, we have Dr. Nilesh Shah, who is the inspiration of today's today's show, which is mental health experts talking about their own mental illness. Doctor, generally, when you see somebody's biodata, they say, I've done so much, I've worked with so many hospitals, and I have achieved so much in my career. When I saw his biodata, he says, very beautifully that I was a monitor in my class third. He's so proud of it, glad. I came third in running competition in 6th standard, And can you imagine a psychiatrist who is heading HOD writes that he has a premorbid personality, which is over anxious. Can you imagine a psychiatrist in his biodata writing that he's got mental health challenges? This is amazing. Can you please unmute and welcome Dr. Nilesh Shah, who is helping us break its stigma? Can you please unmute and welcome? Before I proceed, he's a gem of a person. He wants to give back to the society. He's come to the Hugging Club of India show twice. This is the third time. And he tells that I am very happy, after my science duty, after 4 hours, I want to go and help others. So besides science, he's not consultant anywhere. And he's helped so many people through Hugging Club. People could call up anywhere from India and he will answer, He has talked about turning around about his experience, Dr. Nilesh. What touched me is that you opened your heart last time when you said that earlier anybody in Sion Hospital many years back would get drunk or was drunk would shout and yell. Now you would request, I'm sorry, I cannot allow you to drink. Such kind of lovely nuggets you have given. He's an absolute cricket fan. Every ball of IPL he'll keep. He's a foodie. He's got twin daughters, and he's one of the best teachers, not in Mumbai, but across India. That's what his students say. So over to you, Dr. Nilesh. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Umang. One of the things that you should not praise the guest so much that it becomes difficult for him to live up to this expectations of the audience.
But like how you love movies now, Aishwarya says you are worth it. Okay, and you've also given lovely creative side के अल्बर्ट पिंटो को गुस्सा क्यों आता है तुम्हें मालूम, but Dr. Nilesh को anxiety attack क्यों आता है. What a lovely way to start. So I want to start with this thing, कि you are one of the very few psychiatrists in India who is openly talking about your anxiety attacks. What really motivates you to do this?
Yes, so basically, as you rightly said, that people are a little hesitant to share their psychiatric disorders, and people think that whenever you say that psychiatric disorder, that means the person is mad. Many times people who have depression, anxiety, worries, some psychiatric disorder, and a friend would suggest, why don't you meet a psychiatrist? And the first response is, "Main pagal thodi hu, I am not mad." So people think that meeting a psychiatrist means you are mad, and only mad people treat psychiatrists. So what we realize that psychiatrists, see, schizophrenia, that's madness, is 1 out of 100 people. So that's rare. But 5 out of 100 people have depression, 10 out of 100 people have anxiety disorders. So depression and anxiety disorders are much more common than schizophrenia. So if you have to recognize psychiatrist, it should not be pagalo ke doctor, yeah, vede yanche doctor, but it should be depression ke doctor, anxiety ke doctor, who will help you with your day-to-day anxiety, worries, depression. So I think to share this and remove that little hesitation to meet a psychiatrist, I think we all should share, yes, I also have a psychiatric disorder, and nothing wrong in that. As you rightly said, that illness has chosen us. I did not ask for that illness.
Thank you, Nilesh. And what you are saying is absolutely right. The Bollywood multiplies that one schizophrenia thing, and everybody thinks that people are shouting and violent, but that's just minute person. So thanks for doing this. You saying that you have anxiety attack, it destigmatizes so much. So I really want to know that how did it begin? When did you first come to know that you have anxiety?
Believe me, I have this anxiety, what I call over-anxious disorder or over-anxious personality, or little bit anxious obsessive personality, probably since childhood. And I was myself also not aware of it. And earlier, what I used to do, I stay very near to Bombay Central Station. And if I'm traveling, if the train is leaving at 4 o'clock, I would go to the station at 3 o'clock, 1 hour before, and sit on the station. And I wouldn't mind. Yes, I have reached there and I'm waiting for the train. If the flight is leaving at 6 o'clock and people say you have to go 1 hour before, I will reach there 2 hours before, or sometimes 2.5 hours before, and then just sit there. And I was not aware why I am doing this. After I got married, me and my wife were little opposite in that way. She was least anxious and I was the most anxious. So as I have shared it earlier, that usually you get a invitation card of some marriage ceremony or some function which is there in the evening, and it is written, your pleasure is required, and you can come between 5 and 8. I read 5, my wife reads 8. So at 4 o'clock, I am hyper and says, "Arey, you have to reach by 5. Let's go, let's go, let's go." I pressure everybody, make them ready, and we leave at 4 o'clock. And invariably, we leave, reach at 4:45. And then nobody is there at that time, because in Bombay or in India, 5 o'clock means 6. So we are there at 4:45, and the host will say, "Arey, itna jaldi aa gaye, kaise aa gaye? Aiye, baithiye." And then they have to serve us something. So they will give us welcome drink and some starters, etc. And because there is no one else and then nothing to do, we'll keep on eating those things. And Dulha Dulhan will come at 7 o'clock. Then they will go for photo shoot. And this, by that time we are tired. So we skip our lunch, say hello to them, and come back home. And we miss our dinner. So gradually I started realizing that why I am reaching so early. And my wife would say, "Why are we going 5 to 8? Means anytime. Ideally, you should leave home at 5 o'clock, reach there by 6, 6:30. At that time, other people also will be there." So gradually, I started realizing that why I am going so early at every places. And then I realized that that is because of my anxiety. I am over anxious. And whenever I have to go somewhere, I start thinking about all the negative things which can happen. And these are called ants, ANTS. Ants, Mungi, automatic negative thoughts. So all these automatic negative thoughts are probably there in my mind, that suppose I don't get the taxi in time, if there is a breakdown on the road, if there is a traffic jam on the road, if it's raining and I get stuck. So always that fear that something can go wrong and I will reach late. And if I reach late, what people will say, "Kare, kitna late aata hai? What does he think of himself?" Kind of thing, So that fear. And then gradually I started realizing that people are not expected to reach there at 5 o'clock, but you can reach there 6, 6:30. And same thing happened in my department. When I joined the department, we will have kind of get together or farewell function kind of thing. And it would be at 7 o'clock. And I was the first to reach there at 6:45 when nobody would be there. And then I would be hanging around just waiting for everyone to come. People will trickle in at 7:38. So my students realized, and they started saying that, "Sir, function is at 7 o'clock, but you have to come at 8 o'clock." So then I started realizing that I have this over anxious personality. And if I'm sitting at home and the flight is or the train is at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I start getting anxiety. I'm still sitting at home. I have not reached the station. I should be at station by now, because that was my habit for so many years. And then that anxiety starts. And now people say, "Arey, it's better that you go and sit on the station and read something there rather than getting anxious and hyper at home."
Thank you for sharing this all your experience, because so many people can relate to that, and they are so ashamed and embarrassed, but looking at you saying in a cool, calm, funny manner, it so many people inspires to open up. So as you said, you came to realize, your wife made it you notice, and your even your staff and students. So when you first came to know that you have anxiety, was it difficult to accept it? What were your fears?
Yeah, see, overcoming is very difficult, because suppose the train, see, earlier I used to go alone. So even if I reach 2.5 hours early on the airport and sit, I wouldn't mind. I would read something, I'll take a walk, I will do window shopping, etc. But with my family around, they started questioning that why are we going 2.5 hours before? We can go 1 hour before, that is reasonably good, which is written on the ticket. 45 minutes before we have to board. But why 2.5 hours before? So then I started realizing that this is something wrong with me. I am becoming over anxious, and not only I am in way becoming anxious, but I am kind of taking everybody else because of me early everywhere. So that was the problem which I started realizing.
So it was easy to accept it, or you fought something?
No, so then I started accepting that yes, this is something wrong with me, because it's quite likely that out of 100 times, once in a while you might miss a flight or might miss a train in spite of your best of the efforts. But it is not that every time you will miss it. So there are two things. One is possibility and another is probability. I always thought about possibility, that it is possible to miss a flight, possible to miss a train, possible to go late. It is possible that even in the month of February, it will rain and there will be traffic jam and I won't reach in time. What is the probability? Probability that it will rain in February and I'll get stuck in the traffic is 1 in 100. So that way anything can happen. So then I started realizing that what I am thinking all the time about all the negative events, all the possibilities, right from having a flat tire puncture on the road to raining to the traffic jam and all these things. But what I should think about is not the possibilities, but probability, how likely it is. And then I should take my decision. If it is Sunday, holiday, there is no traffic, I can easily go little late and I'll still reach in time. But yes, if it is 5 o'clock in the evening on a working day, I have to start little early. So instead of possibilities, I started thinking about probability.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. This is how you manage, your anxiety and you took care. So does it remain the same? Did you yourself consult any therapist or, there is so much stigma, approaching a mental health expert. So did you like today also you do the same thing, possibility and probability, the way you managed earlier when you came to know, and did you take any help?
Yes, yes. I talked to my friends, talked to my family members, and they also kind of told me that, yes, you are over anxious. And also they told me that even once in a while you reach late, nobody will think bad of you. Means nobody will think that, friends, it's like a cognitive behavior therapy where you think that if I reach late, then people will think अपने आप को क्या समझता है, बहुत बड़ा डॉक्टर है, टाइम में नहीं आता है, कभी भी आता है. So usually what used to happen that I used to go early and sit with everyone, and some of the doctors would come late or some of the friends would come late and people would discuss कि ये तो हमेशा लेट आता है, अपने आप को क्या समझता है, बड़ा समझता है. And I also used to feel if I go late, then people will talk the same thing about me also. But then reaching late once in a while and reaching late always has two different things. And then I realized that I am not the one who reaching late every time. Once in a while, even if I am late, it's okay. So it's a kind of cognitive therapy which happened directly, indirectly while discussing with friends, colleagues, relatives, my own family members. And now I am okay with it that I need not be 100% right. I always need not be punctual. I should try to be punctual. But even once in a while, if I am late, I pardon myself. I don't feel ashamed of myself that I reached late, 10 minutes late or 15 minutes late.
And don't worry, the लोग क्या सोचेंगे कि मैं VIP हूँ है क्या समझ. So you said something very important that of course family you can talk to, but it's the kind of position you hold. You are a renowned psychiatrist, but talking to your colleagues or other thing, did you think, what will they think about me? Generally, especially in your fraternity, that I may lose credibility. लोग सोचेंगे मैं पागल हूँ और people may not come to me. I will lose respect. This has ever go through your mind?
No, not पागल है, but अपने आप को क्या समझता है. That's usually thing if somebody is perpetually going late, and I many times put myself in opposite situation that if I have to wait for somebody, so if we are going to meet at 4 o'clock and that person comes at 5 o'clock, how would I feel about that person? And probably if I go late, the opposite person will think same what I am thinking about him. So I think what kind of a person he is. He doesn't care. He always comes late unless it's a situation which is unavoidable. So he can come and say, sorry, I got stuck in the traffic. I had started well in time, but because of this, I am late. That is absolutely fine. But purposely that, बैठेगा ना क्या है. Many people have this kind of attitude that, वो patient है ना, आके बैठेगा. 6 बजे का टाइम है, 6:30 बजे तक आधा घंटा बैठने में क्या होता है. But I can't accept that. Means I feel that if I have given time at 6 o'clock to the patient, I should be there by 6. And so I try to be in time, because I feel that if I don't follow the time, other people also won't follow the time. And then I will also suffer the way other people suffer because of me.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you are one of the few doctors who don't take their patients for granted. You can't accept keeping them wait for half an hour. That's nice. And I know people who have come to Sion Hospital and met them and how you've guided them. So thank you for that. My next question is, you being in a mental health fraternity, and generally people in mental health fraternity, they see patients day in out, they went out and all. So are they more susceptible to mental illness than the doctors in other fraternity, than psychiatry?
Not necessarily, because see, we are all human beings and anybody can develop any psychiatric disorders. None of us are immune to psychiatric disorder. So there are two things. One is individual susceptibility. So there are some individuals who are susceptible to psychiatric disorder, maybe because of their personality, maybe because of their constitution, maybe because of their genetic makeup, as you rightly said, inherited thing from the family members. So anybody, not only psychiatrist, but any doctor or any other person can develop psychiatric disorder. But some people think, and it may not be true, that people having psychiatric disorder tend to take up psychiatry as a profession.
Yeah, that's true.
So to solve their own problem. So if I have a psychiatric problem, I say, let me become a psychiatrist, or let me become a counselor, or let me become a therapist, so that I understand myself better and I can treat myself better. That may not be true, but that's a kind of belief. And if that is true, then yes, obviously, because people who have a higher risk of developing psychiatric disorder, if they tend to take up psychiatry, then obviously you will see higher psychiatric morbidity in psychiatrists.
Absolutely. If they themselves have mental illness and taking psychiatry or counseling, yes, it will be there. But how you are openly talking about it, like, it is a very classic thing that a heart surgeon will go for, a cardiologist will go for a bypass surgery. But will a people from mental health expert hesitate to take help? Is that right?
It depends on what psychiatric disorder you have.
Okay.
If you have anxiety disorder, if you have depression, if you have panic attacks, if you have OCD, most of the people don't worry. They go and take help. But if you have major psychiatric disorders like schizophrenia, where people actually look down upon you, कि ये तो पागल है. Because that's the attitude of the people. And I don't blame people also, because they suffer because of it. As you said, that, the person who behaves in an odd manner, so family members also suffer, and that's why they don't like telling everybody that so-and-so has a psychiatrist. So if person has anxiety disorder, he will feel comfortable sharing that I have anxiety disorder, and people will not look down upon him or not run away from him. But if I say I'm suffering from schizophrenia, I'm very sure no patients will come to me, kare doctor hi pagal hai to, because then schizophrenia, person can become paranoid towards you, they become aggressive towards you, violent towards you, and may not treat you well. So if a psychiatrist or a doctor is suffering from schizophrenia, bipolar mood disorder, alcohol use disorder, drug use, like cocaine use or weed use, they want to hide. So they are not very open. Nobody likes to say, I'm Charsi, I'm addicted to cocaine, kind of.
Okay. Thank you for that. But Dr. Nilesh, you started talking about, I remember your students telling me that you would talk about your anxiety many years back, 20 years back. Today it is very common, people are opening up. But at that time, when you told your colleague or your student, don't you think that people will stop respecting me? I will lose my credibility, I'll lose my patient, or people will not look up to me. Did you ever that thought go in your mind?
No, because I was reaching early everywhere. See, if I would have been reaching late, people would say, "Kare, iske saath mat jao." Or patients will kind of say, "Are, he calls you at 6 o'clock and he himself comes at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. So avoid him." But I would go early because of my anxiety disorder. I would suffer But other people probably did not suffer because I would always reach early. So at the most, they would feel, "Kya itne jaldi kyun aa gaye?" But at least they know, okay, now he is here. Suppose I am invited as a speaker somewhere. And like here, say for today, you have invited me. And if I am there 5 minutes before, if the show is starting at 8, I log into quarter to 8 or 5 minutes before it, at least you will feel comfortable. Okay, now he is here. Now 8 o'clock, if I am not there, then you will try to call me. And then I don't pick up the phone. Then again, after 10 minutes, you try to call up. And then you have to give some excuses to your audience that, yes, Dr. Shah is on the way, he's coming, we are trying to contact. Now that becomes a kind of little difficult situation for you to manage. But if I am early, then yes, you can say, he's already come and let's make use of his time. And if somebody wants to ask a question. So because I used to be early, I never became unpopular amongst the students or my patients.
Right, right. See, you are good at your work and you are there. Then people did not care whether you have anxiety or not. It became secondary, right?
And that did not affect them.
It did not affect them, right?
It did not affect my work.
Yeah, and people look up to you, so that's my question to you. In fact, the last question. Today, so many people I know anonymously, people telling me, renowned psychiatrists, that मैं anxiety की tablet लेती हूँ, but मैं doctor अगर मेरे patient को मालूम पड़ेगा तो वो मेरे पास आएंगे नहीं. So what is a message to people in your fraternity in mental health who want to come out and talk about their mental illness, but they are scared that they will lose respect? What is the message to them?
A very simple message is brain is also an organ like any other organ, and now mind also is an organ. So you can have disorders of kidney, disorders of liver, disorders of heart. Similarly, you can have disorders of brain and disorders of mind. And you are not responsible for it because you may have inherited it. So you need not feel ashamed of yourself. If you openly come out and say, yes, I have this illness, in fact, people nowadays understand and try to help you. So if I go and say, I have anxiety disorder, people say, okay, no problem. You come little early, we will have a chat. Or even if you come little late, no problem. Or the program we are inviting everybody at 7. Even if you come by 8 o'clock, it's okay. So actually, when people know that I have little this anxiety disorder, people help me. So I'm glad that nowadays people tend to help rather than look down upon it. Whether you have schizophrenia, whether you have bipolar, and people always try to help you. So if you come out openly with your disorder, you will benefit yourself.
This is so inspiring, when you are telling all this. So many people who are scared, and what people will think when you are talking about it. This is really a movement, people are getting inspired, those in the audience, and when they will listen to this. My question to you last probably is that there is a lot of self-stigma, doctor, that if I am not able to control my pain or my tumor, I will rush to a doctor. But if I am not able to control my negative thoughts or my mind, I am weak. I am a loser. Self-stigma is there. How can we help in that?
Absolutely. See, if I feel like crying, then I can go to a counselor. I can go to a doctor. I can go to a psychiatrist. This awareness is probably not there. It is coming up. But many people think कि मुझे रोना आता है उसमें डॉक्टर क्या करेगा? If I have a headache, I can go to a doctor. If I have a pain in abdomen, I can go to doctor. पर मुझे डर लगता है, घबराहट होता है, तो उसमें डॉक्टर क्या करेंगे? It's my problem. But now we realize that if you are excessively anxious or you are getting panic attacks, doctors can really help you. There are medicines or counseling or relaxation therapy, variety of treatment modalities are available by which you can be helped. So whatever symptoms you have, if you feel like crying, yes, doctor is available and doctor can help you in this situation.
Okay. This is, sorry, a question which has come from audience, and then I'll open it. At the moment, how are you managing? What are your proactively steps do you take to handle that you may not have an anxiety attack? What steps do you take?
Yeah, two, three things. One, I still go little early so that I don't have to rush. So if most of the people will leave at 5 o'clock, I will leave at 4:30 or 4 o'clock. I will go relax, reach early and sit there. So that prevents my anxiety attack. Second, if I have to go for a wedding ceremony or something, I tell myself, don't worry, even if you are late, it's fine. And I'm with the family. So whenever they take me, I will go. So if I'm late and somebody says, "Are itne late?" I said, no, I came with them. They brought me late. So I kind of put it on them. So these kind of what we call coping mechanisms or those kind of things I use
या और
to
अगर
take care of my anxiety.
अगर मैं लेट भी पहुंचूंगा तो उनकी शादी होगी, वो रुक नहीं जाएगी मेरे बिना.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm opening the. If anybody has any question after this lovely session with him, please go ahead and ask your question. This is a rare moment. Otherwise, you have to go to Sion Hospital to ask a question. If you have a question, please go ahead. Please unmute and go ahead. Yeah, Kalindi, go ahead. Kalindi, unmute and ask.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
I'm audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, sir. This is Kalindi from Pune. I have a short question that it is regarding my husband. He was alcoholic and he would physically abuse me, and I have gone through that. So what happened is recently, it was his always he would meet with an accident, and then because of alcohol, and I would go in the hospital and nurse him and bring him back. But recently he met with an accident which was a hit and run case, and what happened is he stopped his neuromedicines, Encoronate, Chronos, Certa, Ativan, and Quitipen. And it's 1.5 years he's not taking. Otherwise, from 2018 he was taking, and now he's saying that मैं अभी ठीक हो गया हूँ, and he has stopped the medicine. So again, now it's back to square one. So earlier he was alcoholic, and now again this neuro ka medicines. So like chemical locha, I can say. So he's getting anxiety, and then he's again attacking. Also, he hit me in October. He fractured my nose also. I had to go for a complaint also. So like this behavior, can I should say schizophrenic or bipolar, or what disease? What should I say? I'm not understanding. He's not ready to go for any help also. Or alcohol. Someone have told me about Al-Anon also, but himself is not ready to go to a psychiatrist or anywhere. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I fully understand in what situation you are and how difficult the situation is. There are two, three things. One, you talked about if he has a alcohol use disorder. This is the term, medical term, which we use rather than kind of calling somebody as an alcoholic or that kind of thing. So if he is suffering from alcohol use disorder and under influence of alcohol, his behavior changes. So when he is intoxicated, he is not himself, and then he becomes aggressive, violent. Two, three things are possible. One is people from Alcoholic Anonymous group, many times they are willing to come home, sit with you, sit with him, and try to help him and say, you come for AA group meetings, and in meeting people share that we also were like you once upon a time, and after coming to Alcoholic Anonymous group, we have changed. That is one. Second, if this kind of approach is what we call soft pedaling doesn't help, in that case, there is a possibility that if he doesn't have the enough capacity to understand his illness, and he is likely to become violent and harm somebody or harm some property to harm himself, in that case, you can enforce treatment. Enforcing treatment means there are doctors who will come to your home. They will assess his capacity, and if they find that he doesn't have capacity to understand, he'll be picked up and put in a rehab center. He can stay in the rehab center for 2 months, 3 months, first time. There every day he is given counseling. There are group therapies. He stays away from alcohol. And there are certain medicines which reduce the craving for alcohol. And one medicine, disulfiram, on which he cannot take alcohol. And he is very clearly told that we are trying to control, we are trying to help you. If you can stay away from alcohol, you can continue to stay at home. But if you are unable to stay away from alcohol because of your illness, we don't blame you, but because of the illness, then you will have to spend more and more time in rehab center. So maybe first time it may be 3 months, second time it will be 6 months, third time 1 year. And when you do this couple of times, some patients really develop that fear that if I indulge in this challenging behavior, I will have to spend more and more time in rehab center. So over a period of time, they change. And once he is there for 3 to 6 months or 1 year, at least it's a great relief for family members that he is in a safe place, he is not taking alcohol, and he is taken good care of.
Thank you. Thank you for that, doctor. And thanks for giving that option. A lot of people are suffering but don't know about calling the doctor at home or forcing treatment, because the person is not compliant. So thank you for that.
Is there any NGO or anything like I can connect to Umangji, then you can give them?
You want to consider admission in a rehab center?
Yeah, in Pune, like I don't means if any centers you can give to Umangji, I can take from him.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
There is a Jagruti center in Pune,
Okay.
Jagruti Rehab Center. If you just Google
Okay.
psychiatric rehab centers in Pune, you will find a couple of them. What I suggest, you visit there, meet doctor, see the place, find out more about him, and then yes, you can admit. Pune is a big city and there are quite a few rehab centers in Pune.
Okay.
Similarly, there is a medical college, BJ Medical College in Sassoon Hospital, where they have a psychiatry department. You can visit that psychiatry department, meet psychiatrists, and they can also help you. You can admit him there also.
Yeah, and he is not ready to understand even the technicalities. Like I was, since he met with an accident, my name was added to his bank. So he's telling that you are a robber, you have planned, and he's telling all this, and it hurts a lot. He also removed my name which was added. So that thing, I can't blame also, and I'm in a confused situation. Thank you so much for
He
helping.
needs help. He needs help, and definitely once you connect with some psychiatrist in Pune, help will be available.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nilesh. Ritika has a question. Ritika, go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much. It's not a question as such, doctor. Basically, I have an anxiety disorder since 2015, and I've been on and off on treatment, a lot of self-help. And like you mentioned, I did my counseling course also way back in 2017 to understand this better. And I've been in the corporate world since 2019. And initially, I thought that, yes, talking about it and being open about it is important. However, I see in the last 1.5 years, it has actually adversely hit my career to the extent where if I'm struggling with something, it just comes out like, oh, you're pretending to be having an anxiety. You just don't want to do this work. I don't think it's the anxiety that's the problem, but it's just that you don't want to do it. Somewhere it's actually impacted my career in the current company so bad that I'm thinking of quitting and joining a new company where I make sure I don't let anyone in that organization know that I have an anxiety disorder. So yeah, I mean, it's hit me very bad, causing me more anxiety because I mean, being on a call, being on an official call, facilitating something, I'm worried that I shouldn't come out anxious. Otherwise, this is going to impact my career again. So I've taken a medical leave right now for 2 months just to kind of get myself to a level where, my boss told me that, no, you're too anxious. You have too many health right now. So you go on medical leave, stay at home, recover, and then come back. Again, impacting my career where I lost the project I was working on. So a lot of corporates are talking about, we are become inclusive, we are doing this, we are doing that, but somewhere I realized, no, they're not doing anything. In fact, people who open up about anxiety are losing their jobs.
There are two ways of looking at it. See, whenever any of your disorder affects the work, so whether it is because of anxiety or because of anything else, see, basically in corporate, they want work to be done in time. they have projects, they have their deadlines. So whether you have anxiety or you don't have anxiety, as long as you do the work accordingly, whatever task is given to you, they will keep you. Even if you don't have anxiety disorder, but if you are not able to complete the task, if you are not able to do the work, if you are not able to do the justice to your work, and if they find that yes, once, twice, thrice, you did not live up to their expectations, then obviously, whether it's me or you or anybody else, they will not continue you because they are paying for it. They want that the work should be done. So
Not
in that case,
it's more like being tagged now. It's more become like, I'm getting tagged as a person with anxiety disorder. It's
no, but that can happen. See, even if you don't have anxiety disorder, and what I'm telling, that assume that you don't have anxiety disorder, but if you are not able to complete the work, if you are not able to complete the task, still they will take the same action against you or anybody else. So what we usually recommend, that take treatment for anxiety disorder, do whatever you want so that your work doesn't suffer. So if you say, yes, I have anxiety disorder, but I'm taking treatment and I'm seeing I reach in time, I do my work, I complete my work, and I don't allow anxiety disorder to affect my work. So I take the treatment to such an extent and I recover from that to such an extent that it doesn't suffer my work. Then there won't be any problem.
Thank you. That's really a gem that you may come and talk about it, whatever, but as you make sure that you do your work. People will not, it doesn't matter then you have anxiety or not, as long as you're finishing your job, you're good, then people don't care, whether you have anxiety or not. And then people may start look up to you, in spite of your anxiety, you're doing well. Thank you for that, Dr. Nilesh. Does anybody have a question? Please raise your hand or you can unmute and ask. Does anybody have a question? There was something in the chat room. Yeah, go ahead. You will not get a chance, especially if you're in outside Mumbai. Please unmute. Ria, go ahead.
Okay. So my question is that I was taking medicine for my anxiety and OCD and depression, but that particular medicine made me very aggressive. I was never an aggressive person. I was always calm at home and all that. But once I started taking it, sort of changed my personality and turned me into this aggressive person where I started getting into fights more frequently with my mom because she's narcissistic. And I had taken her to a psychiatrist and she also was diagnosed with severe anxiety disorder. So in that case, what to do? Because when I told the psychiatrist, can you adjust my medicine or can you check with that? She refused to do that. So what should I do in that case?
Yeah. So see, usually when we treat a patient, we prescribe some medicines, say for example, OCD or depression or anxiety disorder. And any medicine for that matter, what we find that 7 or 8 out of 10 patients tolerate it very well. For them, there is no problem. But 1 or 2 patients do not tolerate it. Either they develop some side effects, or as you said, it changes your mood or it makes you more irritable or aggressive. In this kind of situation, usually if we feel that, yes, these are the medicines which are causing this, we reduce the dose or change the medicines.
Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, you could have a second consultation, and in fact, you can get in touch with Dr. Nilesh also, and can be, bounce back. So thank you for that. Does anybody have a question? Please go ahead. There is a question in the chat box, but any live question?
Yeah, Dr. Nilesh.
Yeah, Vasilya, go ahead.
Right. So actually, I have a follow-up question from Ritika, wherein what she has gone through, but I'm asking from the other end of the spectrum, wherein I have one of my colleague who is kind of working with me, and he does state that he has some kind of an issue which he's not really open about, but at the same time, he is not able to deliver things in the timeline which we really had sort of set. And without being rude, we have been very sort of, trying to accommodative in sense that we try to understand the situation. But then when we ask him, probably that person is not really comfortable. So, I mean, when we ask him, why don't you take a professional help, but there is nothing. So in such cases, what is it more that we can do is something which I wanted to know.
Yes. So usually there is some hesitation in taking professional help. And if that hesitation we can overcome, say, for example, he might say it is very expensive or he doesn't know whom he should go to. So in this kind of situations, if he is unwilling to meet a psychiatrist, many companies have counselors appointed with them. Many schools, colleges also have counselors. And initially, he can go to a counselor and then talk to the counselor, and then probably counselor will help him to understand that, yes, you have certain disorders. Probably you are suffering from anxiety or depression or some other disorder. And along with counseling, if medicines are necessary, psychiatrists would be able to help you. So yes, you are absolutely right that some people have hesitation. If we can find out what is the hesitation, then we might be able to help him and to remove that hesitation. If it's a cost, if it's a money, if it's a financial problem, if it's he doesn't know whom to go to, so we can help him in that manner.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Umang, am I allowed to ask second question if it is okay?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, right. So Dr. Nilesh, the second question is kind of very distinct from the first one. Is in sense that how does one differentiate between the kind of let's say the mental health issues which crops up at the at the older age? Because what happens as an anxiety disorder now, and then let's say after 60, I mean they kind of could be. So how does one understand the onset of mental health challenges after 60 plus is I think that's what I want to understand.
Yeah. Disorders like anxiety disorders settle down after 60 plus. You become more mature. You take life little easily. You are not so much worried. Now you are well established. So there is not too much of a stressor, etc. So usually anxiety disorders tend to settle down. In a 60 plus patients, specifically what we see is cognitive disturbances. So neurocognitive disorders like memory problems, orientation problems, making decision problems. So those kind of problems, and then late onset depression kind of thing. So there is a condition which is popularly known as dementia or Alzheimer's dementia. And it's like cataract. Everybody is going to develop cataract. Some people develop at the age of 40, some people develop at 60, some people develop at 80. Similarly, as we grow older, all our organs, the functioning becomes less. Similarly, the ability of our brain also becomes less. And then one fine day, we develop what we call dementia. So elderly 60 plus should watch out mainly for dementia, cognitive deficits.
Right. And if it is untreated, does it pose any detrimental challenges?
Unfortunately, there is no treatment for dementia.
Okay.
Only we can slow down, and only we can have a good cognitive reserve, so that when we develop dementia, we don't rapidly decline.
Right. Thank you. I think that's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Nilesh, the way you said that later on it settles down anxiety as you grow old. So you know in your story when you said you were as a kid used to be very anxious, and then your wife and everyone brought it to your notice. So in hindsight, do you think you would have done anything differently had you known about it?
Yes, I would have done the same thing which I am doing now. Cognitive therapy saying that it's okay to be late. Even if you don't do well in the exam, it's okay. Every time Sachin Tendulkar cannot hit a century, he also can get out for 0. So those kind of things, it's okay to lose when playing a game, kind of thing. Earlier, when you are not aware and you know okay, you are going to lose a game, the anxiety crops up and then you avoid that situation. You don't go for that exam, you don't go for that competition. Because of that anxiety, you avoid certain things. Now you say it's okay, fine.
This is so heartening, because so many people want to go out on a date or give that competitive exam, but what? But as you said, it's okay if somebody rejects you or you fail. So thank you for that. Yeah, anybody has a question, please go ahead. Please
Can I ask one
unmute.
question?
Yeah, go ahead, Suresh.
Okay. Hi, doctor.
Hello.
Doctor, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Okay, now I'm 23. So I just want to ask, my doctor told me that as your age grow, means as you grow, means as you become older, like say 25, about 30 and all, you will tend to decrease your symptoms, and especially in this borderline personality BPD, you will come to a stable position. Is that right?
Yes, as we grow, as we have more experience, we mature, we become more stable.
Is that especially to this BPD or all the mental disorders?
Most of the mental disorders, as we grow older, they tend to settle down. As I told you that with the experience, you understand few things that, okay, you need not be over anxious, you need not be very depressed. Things will fall in place eventually. So with the experience, maturity comes, you become more stable. And I'm very sure with you also, as you grow older and you have more experience, you have seen the life, and you also will have positive experiences, negative experiences. And with experience, you will know how to deal with negative experiences. So I am very sure that you will also grow out of it. You will become more mature and you will have less problem dealing with difficult situations in life.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Thank you. Does anybody have? We have another 7 to 8 minutes. Does anybody have any question? Yeah.
Question again.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Doctor, just coming back to women, related to women. So as we grow old, it's a different scenario for us when we are touching premenopause and menopause, where we'll end up hitting more of anxiety issues and depression. So how do you connect with somebody who already has an existing issue and is touching premenopause and menopausal state?
Absolutely. See what happens, that women have a hormone called estrogen. Now our limbic system, certain area of the brain, which is what we call emotional brain, is full of estrogen receptors, and estrogen and serotonin are sisters. So when there is a fall in estrogen, even there is a fall in serotonin. Serotonin is required for the mood. If there is an optimum level of serotonin in the brain, your mood is good. You are happy. You are less anxious. You are less depressed. You are able to cope up with difficult situation in life. Now, what happens every time there is a drop in estrogen level? So premenstrual period, just few days before the menstruation, premenstrual syndrome, PMS it is called, that changes in the mood. You become little irritable, you become angry, you tend to snap out, you don't like things. And as soon as the menstruation starts, again your mood becomes all right. So premenstrual syndrome. Similarly, postpartum period, estrogen is very high during pregnancy, and immediately after delivery, the estrogen level drops, serotonin level drops, and 40% of the women develop postpartum blues. Actually, they should be very, very happy that now they have a child. Now they were looking forward to this, and now why I'm feeling so sad. And 1 out of 100 women develop postpartum depression. And the same thing, that when the estrogen level goes down during menopause, even serotonin level goes down. And then some of the women tend to develop depression, or what we call involutional melancholia. So in this kind of situation, because there is a serotonin drop, people develop depression. And if it is a significant depression, clinical depression, we try to help them by giving certain medicines which will optimize the level of serotonin, and they will feel good. So we treat the depression which occurs during menopause period.
Thank you so much, doctor, for this.
Thank you, doctor. Doctor, before last question from Kalindi, one of the main reason you partly answered this to Ria, people don't take help is the side effects of medicine. You know, they are sleeping, or they feel I'll get addicted, or after 10 years my kidney will fail. You know, so many things are stopping and they are suffering. As a very experienced doctor, what do you tell them?
Yeah, I said, see, there are certain effects of the medicine. Medicine, we have one effect, two effect, three effects, etc. Say, for example, there is a medicine which we use called mirtazapine. It has anti-anxiety effect, it has antidepressant effect, it gives good sleep, and it gives good appetite. Now, these four are the effects of the medicine. Now, if somebody has insomnia, difficulty in falling asleep, or somebody is very thin, emaciated, malnourished like me, and my appetite increases, I'll be very happy that now I'm sleeping well, my appetite has improved, I have put on weight, and my depression is also low, my anxiety is also low. But suppose somebody has anxiety and depression, but he's obese, and already is eating more, and already is sleeping more, then same medicine, he'll be happy that it reduces anxiety, reduces depression, but increase in appetite, increase in sleep, he will see it as a side effect because he doesn't want that effect. So each medicine has certain effects. The effects which you want, you take it as an effect. Effects which you don't want, you call it a side effect. So now we have to match the symptom profile, the person, with the effect profile of the medicine. So usually I try a medicine which I think is the best for this patient. 8 out of 10 times I am right. Patients appreciate, patient improve. 1 or 2 patients I go wrong. They develop side effects, unwanted effect. I change the medicine. So I would always tell the patient that, see, this is the effect and it will help you. But if you have any side effect, unwanted effect, please let me know. I can reduce the dose, I can titrate it gradually, or I can change the medicine. So that has to be done in most of the cases.
It's a lovely insight, doctor, that different people will react different to the same medicine. I mean, depending on your what you call quota, whatever is your personality. If you sleep a lot or drink a lot or eat a lot, you'll eat more. Lovely answer. Thank you so much for this. This is a gem. Yeah, Kalindi, go ahead.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you. I had one question regarding this. Even now I am 50 plus, and I am also going through my menopause. Whatever is happening, even I am not aware. Even I have to take the knowledge about it, and I am having my own anxiety also, and I was into stress because of this husband's this all going through, and even my two elder sons, 30-year-old and 26-year-old, even in 2019 they had started drinking alcohol, and then I was shattered again. And what happened is, this I'm working on in its HCI on myself, but someone also has suggested me that if your husband is not taking medicines, so why don't you give without his knowledge? So I said that I don't want to play with his, like, I don't know what will happen, the repercussions. So simply like वो बोलते हैं ना कि अभी means अभी तो हिट एंड रन केस हुआ, तो डॉक्टर हैड सेड कि ही मे नॉट सर्वाइव आल्सो। तो वो हमारे में बोलते हैं कि लाइक मैंने फिर उनको ये जवाब दिया कि जो मेरा बिंदी मीन्स जो हम इसको हस्बैंड मानते हैं, तो जो कुंकू है वो मैं हाथ से क्यों उसको मीन्स ये करूं। तो आई डोंट नो, बट दैट वाज टोल्ड, so I just wanted to again say that. And my menopause and this all 50 plus, and my husband is 62 63. So that also I forgot to mention the age.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, if you feel that you are unable to cope up with the situation, you are feeling sad, depressed, anxious, you have difficulty in falling asleep, always do not hesitate to go to a counselor, go to a psychiatrist, and definitely with medicines, your mood will improve, your anxiety will decrease, your depression will decrease. and your ability to cope up with this difficult situation will improve.
Yeah, I'm on medicines and psychiatrist medicine, and even sessions are going on from HCI.
So I
And,
think that will definitely help
yeah.
you.
So we
Okay.
can get your number.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give you. I'll share with you. Don't worry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So let's go to the last question of the day. We're already at 9. Does anybody who has not asked before would like to ask a question? Kaushik, Manoj, anybody, please go ahead. Or if you're not comfortable, you can put me in the chat box also. Does anybody want to ask a question? Please go ahead. Okay. So there is this question in the chat box which says that I want to stop my dependence on drugs, and I'm relapsing, again and again. What should I do?
This is a little difficult to treat situation. Many people are addicted to drugs, and the craving is so much that they go and take the drugs. There are some medicines which are called anti-craving medicines. So first step is giving anti-craving medicines and helping the patient. Second step, we put them in the hospital, take care of the withdrawal symptoms, and gradually, once they are out of withdrawal symptoms, there is no craving, they are able to stay away from drugs. The third is, if there are repeated relapses, then there is something called as harm reduction strategy. So we put them on a regular drugs. Say, for example, somebody is addicted to heroin or brown sugar. Then there is a medicine called buprenorphine, which is same as heroin or as brown sugar. Now, what happens that if you want to procure brown sugar or heroin, it's illegal. And it's very, very expensive. So instead, we say, okay, instead of that, you take this buprenorphine medicine. So you don't have to take buprenorphine, will have same effect like brown sugar or like heroin, and medical doctor will give it to you. It is prescribed, it's legal. So instead of taking illegal drug where there are lots of complications, lots of legal issues, lots of money are required to buy those medicines, you go to a psychiatrist, you go to a health professional and take these medicines on a regular basis. It will have the same effect like brown sugar, but it is safe and you don't have to go to this illegal means. So you are maintained on the drugs by psychiatrists. So that is another option.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Different treatment for severe cases. So just one question somebody got inspired to ask related to that. Is the same thing for sex addiction? Same line of treatment?
Sex addiction.
Yeah.
Yes. Nowadays, we are also recognizing what is called as behavioral addiction. So sex addiction, porn addiction, gaming addiction, shopping addiction, variety behavior, mobile addiction. All of us are addicted to mobile.
Yeah.
The first thing when we wake up in the morning, the mobile alarm wakes us and we immediately pick up the mobile and see what has happened when I was sleeping. So mobile addiction. So people are becoming more and more aware about this mobile addiction or behavioral addictions, internet addictions. And yes, nowadays we have treatment facilities for even these kind of addictions, and there are medicines which we use to help people having this behavioral addiction, and particularly this hypersexuality. We have very good medicines which will reduce your excessive sexual urge.
Okay.
Yes.
So is this a part of BPD also, sexual hypersexuality? Some cluster, is it also a part of that?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
People can have independent hypersexual behavior.
Okay.
So that is treatable and we can take care of that. It can be part of, but not in all cases.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We have come to an end to a wonderful session. First of all, can you please unmute and give a round to Dr. Nilesh to talking about mental illness and talking about your headache, making it so easy. Can you please give a round of applause? Dr. Nilesh, seriously, you know the kind of thing you have done. Look at the gravity that you being a psychiatric head of psychiatric division of Sion Hospital talking so casually about your anxiety attack inspires so many people to open up and take help. This is amazing, and you telling your stories about train and airport and wedding, it makes it so casual and regular, lovely way. No wonder people tell that you're a very good teacher. This is so beautiful. The steps you keep telling, okay, it's okay to fail, okay to reach late, okay to get rejected. This is really inspiring. And I like the very beautiful thing you told about medicine. People are stopping medicine, but different person will, somebody, it will be a main effect, somebody will be more like a side effect, and this is really very, what you say, interesting to know. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks to you, I'm again repeating, Dr. Nilesh, thanks to you, we have started this initiative. Mental health experts talk about their own mental health challenges. You are the inspiration for that. Thank you so much for this. The kind of stigma you're breaking, you have no idea, Dr. Nilesh.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. I'll see you soon, doctor. Thank you.
Yeah.
So come again.
Sure, sure.
Thank you. Bye, Dr. Nilesh.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so it's almost like, what do you say, 70 minutes. So we also need a round of applause for sitting. So a round of applause. I am very proud and glad that my brother is here. Nimish bhai,
Yeah.
can you come on camera? My brother is here. Nimish bhai, are you there?
Yeah.
I'm there. Let me try. I'm not that technology. How do I go there?
You can just put on your camera. You can put your camera on. Yes. He's my brother and he's here, and I'm so glad he's here.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
You people are doing great job. Keep it up.
Thank you. I think you are all part of our family as well. So, which means you are also doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for coming here. And he's in a different room. We are in the same house. He's in a different room right now. So thank you for coming. And if you're coming tomorrow, you'll meet him also. He's coming for the HCI 5th anniversary celebration. So if you are in Bombay, please come. Thank you, Nimish bhai, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Does anybody want to share, say anything? People you are for the very first time want to be a part of WhatsApp group, please go ahead. Yeah. Anybody want to say anything? Especially Ritika, Priyanka, Vishal. Anybody want to share, say anything? Yeah, Priyanka, go ahead.
Hi guys, sorry I cannot be on video. I'm driving.
No
I
worries.
actually, can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes.
So I live here in the United States. I'm actually a psychiatrist, and I was looking for some conferences to attend myself, as part of my job. And then I came across this, and I put it on my calendar, and I'm so glad I joined. So I cannot share much, but I just want to say that it takes a lot of courage to even get on a Zoom, right? And be on video and then ask questions. So I'm super proud of each one of you. And I don't know you guys, but I'm just sending a lot of love. And I think a lot of you are struggling, or you're struggling with a family member. And there is hope. Like this session, I know there's 23, 24 people joined, and it's 19 now, but this is exactly how big things happen. And never lose hope, right? I've lost patients to suicide, and sometimes, again, maybe someday I'll share my story, but I did grow up in India. You can tell I still have my accent, but I've been here in the US for 14 years, and, I've been on my own path, but I'm so glad I came, even if it was for 10 minutes. It was so refreshing, and, there's a lot of work to be done. I have other commitments going on, but I would love to stay in touch, but all I want to say is, you have a story that will inspire people, and I don't want to mess up the name. Was it Dr. Nilesh who was presenting?
Yes, yes, yes. Dr. Nilesh.
Yeah, Dr. Nilesh will not do all the work. You guys, even if you help one of your friends to feel like they are being heard, that is worth everything that you went through. So never forget that you can still make so much impact, and it's painful when you go through it, but when you start coming around and you feel like you're not alone, this is exactly what support groups look like. And I'm so excited. I cannot share, like, I'm like in a different state of mind because I almost forgot because I was driving somewhere and I still am. Just want to share a quick comment. It was towards the end, but just back to you, Umang. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Priyanka, for sharing, and thanks for joining. And please be safe. You are driving, so please take care. But Priyanka, we have a WhatsApp group, very active, a support group. You can ping me on that and I can add you. Okay.
Umang, I would
Sounds
love to be
good.
a part of that group. So I'll ping you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you can ping me on LinkedIn, or I will share my number on the chat, and you can take it from there. I will add you to the WhatsApp group. We have a very active group. In fact, 90% of the people over here are from the WhatsApp group. So if somebody is open to share their experience with Dr. Nilesh Shah, if Disha, anybody else, if somebody who has spoken to Dr. Nilesh Shah, Disha, are you there? Would you like to talk?
Yes, I'm here only.
Hi, Disha, can we see you? So nice to see you. I'll see you, but so nice that you are here. Please go ahead. And I'm going to switch off the recording so people can